Step one is locate the tools under the back seat. You'll find a little knob here that you can spin to release this and pull this. You gotta unscrew it. It's kind of a fine thread, which I find annoying. It's unscrewed when it pops up like this. Now you can just lift it out, okay? And now you can see what I'm talking about. It has this clip that screws down. Step two, once you have your tools out, your pack out, is just open them up and pull out the bars, pieces. There's 4 pieces total. There's the tire iron, okay, which that end's for lug nuts, but this end has useful features. The square part is gonna attach onto the other rods here and turn this into a crank to lower your tire. And then this little hook area you can grab the cable with when the tire is down to pull it back towards you. Now this is maybe the most important thing, and it looks obvious in the owner's manual, or fairly obvious maybe to some people, but if you're trying to get on the hoist back here to lower the tire and you're having trouble, you suddenly start to doubt whether you have the right end of the tool. The end you want is this one. It has a couple of features I'm going to identify verbally. First of all, the end is square and open, okay? It has a welded bead around the top all the way around, the very top ridge. And then it has a hole in the side, not a ball bearing bead that sticks out. Okay, so don't confuse this with this, which is also square but does not have a bead and has this sticking out. You want this end to be inserted in and attached to the hoist. Okay, so you're going to take 2 of the pieces that have this end, 2 of these. You're going to insert them together, okay, like that. And then you're going to take your tire iron and put the end with the ball bearing through that, okay, like that. Now you have a tool that can be used to crank down your spare tire. So the next thing you're going to do is come around to the back of the truck, and on the right side of the license plate open this little door. You're going to take your ignition key, okay, and insert it in that lock, turn it a quarter turn and pull the lock straight out. And there's a little gasket, so it might hang up, you have to wiggle it out a little, but it looks like that. So here's the lock, and you can see when you turn the key the little piece that comes in and out. Okay, so step 3 is to lower the tire. Now you're going to go through here, you're going to insert this in through this tube, go back, it goes through the frame, and it goes back by the crank, and you're going to try to get on this tool. Get on the hoist. It has a square drive on the back that this tool is supposed to fit on. Okay? Here's the problem. I can never get on it. I always have the hardest time trying to get on this thing. I can't feel it anywhere. Moving this around, never get on it. Okay, if you have that problem, you can sit here and try to get on it over and over. Now you could take your license plate off, but let's see if I can see it. It might be right there. There it is. Okay. Well, that's easier than crawling underneath. So if you take your license plate off, you can look through, the rod goes through the frame. I'm going to take the camera off and pull us down and see if I can show you. This is an easier thing. You can crawl underneath and look up through the holes in the rim to find that square drive on the hoist, but this is better. If you take your license plate off, you can see the spare tire Okay, but more importantly, there, you can see the rod there going through the frame. I'm going to try this here too. You can see a tube in there too. I'm not getting it very well on the camera. There it is. That's a tube at the top that the tool is going through, and then it just stops. And then, so the tool goes through the frame. I don't know if I can capture this with the camera because of the angle, but if you shine the light back in there and get back and look down in, I'll show you from underneath what it looks like too, but you can actually see where the center of the hoist is. Coming through the back of the bumper, you have the port here. You come through this tube, it's only a few inches long. Then there's a gap. Then you go through a hole in the frame here. See my fingers going through. And you come back to this hoist. You would think they'd design it with the tube leading right back to it and just run the plastic tube back there and center it, but they don't. And when you're feeling around back there, I couldn't get on it without looking. And when the tire's up there, you can look through the holes in the rim and see that thing, or you can feel around until you get it. It just goes on like that. But as you can see, it's not coming straight through the center of the tube coming out. Okay, you kind of got to tip it up on mine. And I'm sure it varies from truck to truck. So that's what you're trying to do right there. Once you get on that winch, spinning this thing will raise or lower that winch. I never can get on this without some visual of where it is. So, but once it's in, this is easy. So you just, once you're on it, you just crank this down. So you're going to crank counterclockwise, and you will see the tire dropping down. It's on a cable, and as you turn this, the cable unwinds off that hoist, and the tire comes down. I'm going to lower it all the way down. And you want to let it keep going, cranking it till you have all the slack out, because then that will allow you to pull the tire back towards you. So uncrank all your extra like this. Then pop this off, and you can reach back with that hook. Remember earlier I showed this little hook? Reach back with the hook, grab the cable. In theory, kind of looks like that hook doesn't really grab the cable very well. Now it doesn't want to come off the cable very well. Okay, should go lower. Go a little lower. Yeah. Well, the other way is just grab it with the tire iron. Just pull. Just gotta be careful it doesn't slip and jam the tire iron into your leg. But there, now it's out here where you can get at it, right? Okay, so now you can see you're going to have to tip the tire up to get the cable and the bracket out from under the tire. Okay, so you just lift that up and you turn that bracket sideways. You can then pull it out. Okay, now your tire's free. Now your spare's free. If you want to move it, you can hook it like that. Just be careful you don't slip off of whatever you're gripping and jam yourself in the leg or worse. Okay, so that's got the spare off. Putting it back in is just the opposite of that. I do want to show you one other thing. If you happen to be somewhere that you have a drill and your other tools, and if you have a 1/4 inch drive, it will fit close enough into this, and you can lower the winch or raise the winch really quite easily like that. But you know, it's not difficult using the tire iron as a crank. It happens pretty quick. So that's just a nice extra if you're in a hurry and near your tools. When you're done and you're ready to put your spare back up, it's the reverse process. So you slide the tire under, hook the... Now if you just change the tire and you're wondering what to do with the other tire, you're probably going to have to put it in the back of the bed. I don't know that it will fit up under here. I haven't tried that, and it might, but it's about the same diameter, I guess. So in theory it probably could, but you're probably better to just put it in the back of the truck if you're taking it somewhere to get it fixed, but you could try. Okay, you can see it reaches back, you know, this far behind the trailer hitch when it's all the way down. So I'm going to get the tire and hoist it back up. Okay, so now I have the spare sitting here, and you'll notice I have the hollow side that goes towards the brake drum up, so that when the cable comes through, you're going to pull the tire up and you have not as far to hoist, right? And you also have plenty of clearance for any of the apparatus up there. So what you're going to do is stick this through the wheel. You got to turn it sideways to get it to go through. You may have to lift this and tip it a little to drop that cable and apparatus through. And then it's going to hook like that. Okay? And I think you can see it. I hope you can see it on the camera, but it just sits up through the center of the hub. Alright, so what we're going to do is stick that in the end. Start hoisting up. I'm going to get that in the center like that. I just pulled it right back. Now it's hanging straight. And you can lift it right up. And we're just going to hoist that back up into place. Now I'm going to be careful not to over crank this. I don't want to break the cable or anything, but you can get most of the hoisting done like that. And then as it gets up there, now it's there. I'm going to do the last little bit by hand so that I can feel that tension physically myself. Okay, so the tire is snugged up. It's not going to bang around, but I want just enough tension to hold it snug without banging around. That's good.